As you go through programming REBOL, you're going to come across a lot of common errors. This little section shows you how to fix those errors. One of the most common things you'll see is as you go into make a REBOL program, if you just start typing in code, you'll get an error if you don't put in a header. So if I run this program, I'll get a error script is missing REBOL header. And so generally, whenever you're using any sort of editor to write a script, you always need to put at the top, if you're saving this file, you need to put a REBOL header, and then when you run it, it will run correctly. Here, so you can see it. That gets rid of that error. That's one of the most common things. If you forget to put the header in, you're gonna run into some problems. Next, one of the really common things you'll see is if you forget to close a block, you have an opening for a block and don't ever close it, REBOL will let you know, and you'll get this error, missing end of block, and you can fix that just by fixing the block here. Something like this. Now it works. And a quick way to make sure that you're not having those kind of problems is to always use multiple levels of indent. So here a block starts on one line, and when you're done with that, you end it on the same line that it started. If you have another block that starts here, for example, if we have another block that is included in that block, you go through multiple indents to start the next block. That will keep you from missing closed blocks. If you see indented text, there should always be a closing block. Okay, the next common little error that you'll see is the type error. Now, this is one of the most common and pervasive and troublesome little errors that you can run into. In this case, we've assigned a word to a URL. REBOL knows that's a URL because it's got the typical URL syntax, http://. The function alert only works with strings and blocks and objects. It doesn't work with URL types. So when we go to run that, what happens is it gives us a error that the expected type is not what was there. It expects a string or a block or an object or none. And so we can fix that, and we can fix a lot of the errors that you run into when you're processing data and you use the wrong type of data for a given function by using the to-type conversion. Casting that URL now into a string, and when we run it, it will run properly because the alert function now has the appropriate type of data sent to it. Another type of error that's really common is if you try and use a word that hasn't been defined here. That can happen if you just try and use a variable that hasn't been defined, or if you misspell a definition. It's common that you may for example, try and use a word that you think you've defined. If you've misspelled it, it still isn't defined. So again, an easy correction is just to make sure we've got that word actually defined, and then when we go to it will work correctly. So this word has no value means that you haven't defined the word you're trying to use that variable. Another thing you'll see a lot is you can escape out of any sort of loop or other errant code in your REBOL program by using the escape key. If you do that while you're running a view layout block, you're going to get a little error. Let's create a little layout here with some text. For example, this, and we run that. Here's the running program, and now we can close that up. If we do that again and we exit out of the program, if we escape the program while that's running, we can go back here into the interpreter and exit it, escape it. We've now got a little REBOL program that won't respond to any close actions. It won't respond to anything in the event loop because the program has been stopped. And the way to do that is just to type unview, and it's off screen now, but now that little window is gone. You can usually do events and it will start the loop again. So using unview to close a screen that you can't close out is an important little error to be aware of, a way you can fix that kind of error.